I want to talk about how to solve the problem to live well. And one of the themes that I tend to think using the brain is to find where the bottleneck is, the pinch point. And if you open up that pinch point or blockage, life's energy flows better, you feel lively and happy. And if it's blocked, it's not so pleasant. As you get older, you should become wise if we learn the lesson so that the bottleneck we have can be addressed so that we may live long and happy. So that's the idea of the bottleneck. And if we think about the bottleneck in a different setting, I think you may find it interesting, hopefully. The way I think is this, very much related to my work. But even before that, when I was living in Japan, living in a family and growing, I was influenced by the family, my parents, and their suggestion, and they had some power. So I'm limited to their understanding of my potential, and their suggestion can have a big impact. And when I'm little, you listen to your parents, at least in Japan, and I was more inward oriented. So respecting the parents because of their age and experience, I listened. But maybe I was a bit rebellious, so I fought against that every now and then. And that was part of the growth. And from the parents to school, high school, college, with friends and new organizations, and working in a company, the situation changes, but the growth is always related to finding the blockage. What stops me to grow? What stops me to enjoy what I want to do? And obviously, if you have ego or strong ego, the society may want you not to push that too much. But as I was graduating from the college, I felt like, well, let me find out what's life like outside of Japan, especially the United States. So, as exploratory as I was, I wanted to experience something different, from a small scale to larger scale to different culture and different subject. Also, my work changed from engineering to business and on, or psychological even. So it's a growth pattern is always expanding the, how do you call this? The circle of influence, and trying to relate to my inner desire, what do I really like, to be able to experience life and have fun. I think it's natural, and as I moved to the US, I saw different pattern, different value system, culture, and that helped me to expand my thinking horizon or experience base, so that I felt like I could see the picture from different angle. Before I was watching in one direction, and then after I lived in the States for perhaps 5 years or more, then I start to feel like I can see different angle, which makes it me to be more flexible, so that the bottleneck is shifting. And more we do that, more flexible we can become, and more versatile, and possibly adjust to the situation better and live well. When I worked as a consultant, one of the reasons was if you visit different companies and help them, that would expand the experience base of different companies with different value system, different leadership, different management system, different shop floor, and how they live differently. So I get the knowledge and learn how to communicate better, understand better, and each person has different view of the world. And I start to like this work in the sense of finding the better connection to utilize the resources better, so that the whole organization can be more empowered and expand the possibility, and people enjoy expanding their roles and experiencing it. So the idea of the mini company is to have each person to grow with the company. As much as each mini companies grow, the higher level of mini company would grow, and the whole company can grow. Each has the same system, but communication gets better by the idea of the glass wall management. So that's one aspect. And I can talk about lean, which is about process flow, how to simplify it and combine and eliminate the wasteful situation that even shop floor people can contribute. So the wisdom of people can be captured, becoming a strength, higher capability of the organization, and everybody benefit. So that's the idea. It may not fit to many organizations, or some organizations where top-down is the prominent way of doing things, but even that situation, we can introduce those ideas like a mini company, empowerment, self-management, and also glass wall management, so that the pain of the organization is made visible, like a red and blue, or red and green. Red is bad and green is good, so that key performance measurement is made visible for everyone. So if we can display the pains for each and have the whole organization sharing that, then you know what the problem is, major problem is. So that's a bottleneck for the organization to grow. There may be multiple bottleneck or areas for improvement, but the concept is the same. So it's managerial process, and I can talk about the flow of information and material can be worked out, especially reducing the inventory, knowledge inventory, information inventory, or the materials inventory. If it gets stacked up in the organization, it prevents the flow, and there's more double handling, triple handling, and waiting of the inventory to get processed through. So it's not lean. Reduction of inventory, make it working together, for people to work together. So there's that concept of the Toyota production system, waste elimination, and empowering and appreciating people's talent. So the organization grew. And then I realized the same thing happened within myself, that I have me, and within myself a mini me and mini me, like a brain and the heart and the muscle and the kidney and lung. Each are like mini company, and they need to work together. And if only brain is pushing and ego is pushing, maybe stomach is hurting but you don't hear it or feel it or ignore it, but it's not healthy. So sub-optimizing is not good. So you have to look at the whole system, have a good perspective to know where the real problem is, what's most important issue is. And if we don't know it, you're just pushing the button to think that one of those buttons should work. I've done it, I still do it, just jumping into conclusion. So on the system I talked about, the organization, I realized it works within myself. So I talk about this Samadhi, calm mind, quiet mind. That also is like not being occupied in parts of the brain, like a mini part of it, but looking at the whole system. When the mind is calm, there's something interesting happen, that there's an energy of life that can influence what the solution is. And what I mean is this, that if you think mind is everything and ignore the body or the heart, it's sub-optimizing in the brain. If you don't listen to your stomach may develop ulcer or even cancer. So that could be the bottleneck in terms of the shifting of the brain importance to the importance of the body can help you to live better and grow. So whole living being should make the best of making the most of what you got. So utilizing the whole, just like in the case of the organization, I mentioned that not just the top management occupying what to do, and the rest of it just listen and do it, just tell me what to do. In case of organization, that can happen, but if we look at our own body and mind and heart and all the organs and stuff like that, if there's a bottleneck, you have to pay the price, because you are unbalanced. So when I say, what's the Japanese word? Maximum utilization, zenkigen, utilization of all the potential in a manner that makes sense. Not pushing one, but balancing out. So ego has to be taken away every now and then. And maybe you need exercise, because if you don't do the exercise, what you really want to do may not be able to be accomplished. So you need to be a good manager of your whole system. Mind is one of them, and the lung and heart and kidney and so forth is each important. And I have what do you call that one? Gallbladder. I have a polyp there, 11 millimeter, and that can become a cancer. So I'm checking every year, and so far it's 11. It's not growing. So I'm saying, okay, I don't want to need it. I need the gallbladder. So I'm saying that to the doctor, leave it alone. So each judgment has a consequence to the rest, and therefore it's the whole system is connected to each other. And I'm laughing. It's kind of obvious if I say like this. And if you know what I'm saying, and if it's happening in me that I should practice those same idea I talked about, the organization, mini company and so forth, within myself. Not just the top heavy, but not just the bottom biased, looking at the whole. Since mind cannot look itself, you have to let the mind go and be quiet. And what happens, fascinating thing, is that when the mind is quiet, what's left? Because mind is not contributing. What's contributing is whatever nature's way to put us to be here alive. And that's a fascinating idea. We are alive without mind. Why? Nature has put us to be like that. We are born and we are here alive. It's a miracle. It's the most amazing miracle I can think of, that I'm a miracle. So this miracle power put me to be alive without my brain and mind as much. Maybe they have some influence, but if you are egocentric, you cannot get the sense. So when I say the meditation, and when you meditate, you may feel a tingling sensation or some such expression, or you breathe in and breathe out. So your shift of emphasis changes from the brain to lung and body and sensation. And when you have the sense of sensation, you are connected to that area. But if you're occupied in the brain, like I said, if the stomach is hurting and you don't recognize or ignore it, then there's a gap. When we are little, we are not as much ego-driven and just curious, so you are more creative. But once we start to get this ego and fixed way of thinking, just like living in Japan but not being able to see picture from the US, so I may only see this part of the moon, but the other part I cannot see, that kind of stuff. So more experience we have, and more viewpoint that we have, more we can triangulate, more reference we have. Just like having a different way of monitoring the health, more we have those capabilities, we start to see what's most important. So, to say it simply, we need to have time, not just being occupied in the mind, but empty it and just look around, feel, hear, smell or taste, and then all parts of the body to be alive. And they each communicate each other. It's like a decentralized way of communication that they do without the brain's involvement as much. So that's how to expose the bottleneck, or pay attention to the unattended area to be a part of the whole. Just like the whole organization need to have everyone to communicate and help each other as customers and suppliers within each person. We need to do that. I'm laughing or smiling because when we do that, we don't have to think, and therefore oh, it's already 20 minutes past, so that's when 20 minutes it stops. Sorry for the interruption, but where was I? So the bottom line is to have those multiple view or perspective of all, to see all. That's awakening. That's when the mind is quiet, that you start to detect. And it takes time, because all the blood going on up, and then hormone and adrenaline, whatever. So that distribution has to be changed, the hormone and whatever, blood flow. So it's a biological thing that has to take place. And when we realize that there's much more than this brain to do things, to keep us alive, that's the connection to the heart and body. And when you notice that miracle power to keep us alive, the energy flow can be filled up instead of blocked in some area. So maybe I talk too much, and maybe I'll revisit this, but I just want to keep on sharing this idea, because more we do that, more we have a fresh view of the world, not to be confined in certain way. Okay, some people may want to be confined in certain way and just focus on it, but still this idea can be practiced by everyone. So when I say multiple times, spend time to just focus on breathing and pay attention to it, or to get into Samadhi, even 5 seconds or 10 seconds, like right now. Stop. And then you feel peaceful, calm and peaceful. That's opening the door. That makes us to bring out the wisdom, ideas and so forth. It may not happen like this, but once we are used to that process, or the state of being open in mind, calm and quiet in mind, and be aware that we have that energy source that is being distributed and filling up, and more we connect to that energy, the miracle power that brought us to live, we want to participate more, because it's hidden, especially when we are brain heavy. I'm not saying brain heavy is bad. I'm hoping that we can also help other organs and potentials to keep us alive, energy flow, and the nerve system, hormone, as nature may want to do it. That balance out the system, and keep us live long and healthy, as well as more wisdom generating and compassionate, because I think that's the will of the nature, the way of the nature to put us to be alive here. What's the reason for us being here? There's a reason that we can think of here, but there's a reason we can relate to the nature's way, unknown nature's power that brought us the miracle. And you can call that as God, or the Buddha, or Advaita, the being at the absolute state of being without any delusionally or dualistic thinking, word and logic, but be in the state of Samadhi. People say we are living in the chaos, and that was one of the comments I got in one of the videos. And I responded that we came from chaos to be alive. Isn't that fascinating? I used to say, not recently, but we are basically a combined state of dust of the universe. That's what it is. That's what it is. Maybe that's a weird way of thinking, but I cannot think otherwise. So, okay, I spent 26 minutes on this. I'll leave it here. And maybe we all can find the bottleneck to be happier and healthier and have fun. Each individual, each body, each organization, and connection among them, because of that relationship with each other and attitude, and the reason why we are here, whatever form it is, we can find a way. That's what I believe. Thank you.